In Ultima VIII, you, the Avatar, have been thrown into the hellish world of Pagan by none other than your old nemesis, the Guardian. The people of this new world don't know the Avatar from Adam, nor do they care that you are the savior of Britannia. Your quest, should you choose to accept it this time, is to escape the new and hostile environment, preferably without dying, and return home to save Britannia and Earth from the evil Guardian. When you land in the ocean of this new world, you appear to be fully clad in armor. You don't really have any equipment on, it just looks that way. Somehow, you avoid a watery death and you're rescued by a fisherman who just happens to be there to save you. Good thing, since it seems that the mighty Avatar can't swim. You soon discover that your temporary home is not a very nice one. Your first experience is to witness a bloody execution on the docks. What may come as a surprise, this being an Origin product, is the incredible speed of this game. Even on a 486-66 with 16 megs of RAM, Pagan ran at a snail's pace. You might think this problem was due to the speed of the CD drive, but guess again. Ultima VIII ran entirely off the hard drive. I mean, what's the use of having it on CD? Especially since it doesn't have full voice. In fact, the dialogue that's spoken in Pagan totals about 1%. I pity the fool stupid enough to buy the floppy version and then drop an extra $20 on the so-called speech pack.
We'll be right back after these messages.
If you're looking for a fast-paced game with some serious graphics and gameplay like you can only get in the arcades, look no further. Raptor is here. Check out the shareware version of Raptor in the main menu under Install Demos. Magic Candle was one of the best role-playing games of its time. It has a fantastic plot and gameplay that'll make you think you're playing a real pencil-and-paper game on your computer. Look in the main menu under Install Demos for the complete game, or check out our article under the Features section in the main menu.
We now return you to the show.
After you get used to the choppiness and slowdown, you have to contend with the new controls. They aren't bad, but they're hampered by the speed of the game. The Avatar's animation is simply amazing, but the game speed lessens the effect quite a bit. Unfortunately, you can't just click on a spot and go there. You have to creep, walk, or run, which can get pretty old with the slowdown. Anything you do in Pagan, regardless of movement, generally takes a long time. If you want to save or load a game, it takes an eternity. If you enter or leave town, you can catch a quick nap. It only took around 5 minutes to install Ultima VIII from CD, but uncompressing the files upon boot up lasted a nerve-wracking 10 minutes. If you buy the disc version, identical to the CD without the speech pack, you're looking at a good 20 minutes or so of installation time before you even get to the uncompressing. The graphics for Pagan are excellent to say the least, improving on the already great Ultima VII engine. However, the view has been angled down to give a more realistic feel. The tops of buildings disappear when you walk into them, allowing you to see what's inside. This is wonderfully handled, and I wish the Pagan development team would send a memo to the designers of Syndicate on the virtues of actually being able to see the character you're controlling. The combat has also changed. Instead of just barking out orders, you have to actually control how the Avatar fights. This is a new twist to the Ultima series, which could pose a problem for those uncoordinated traditionalist role players who liked Ultima VII. The animations for the individual movements are very convincing, but when you get into a battle with multiple monsters, the game runs so slowly that it's almost impossible to control your character. This leads to frantic pounding of the mouse, with only minimal success in even the wimpiest battles. Non-player characters, usually one of Origin's better points, are done pretty well. That is, if you thought Bill Clinton's inaugural speech was cool. Though there are plenty of characters to talk to, either they have way too much to say, or what they say is absolutely meaningless to your quest. I'm sure a lot of people won't agree, but in my opinion, most of the dialogue in Pagan is just boring filler. One of the few bright points in Pagan is the digitized sound. The screaming of the monsters, the splashing of the water, and the clumping of your feet are all fantastic, thanks to Origin's new 4-voice digital sound. Unfortunately, the music is just average. I mean, is anyone else getting sick of Wing Commander music or what? Let's get some variety, for Christ's sake! Another nifty new feature is your ability to interact with the environment. Now you can climb rocks, buildings, and anything else you can get your little hands on. This adds a whole new dimension to gameplay if it's done right. Unfortunately, this just isn't consistent. One moment you'll be able to climb up onto something, and the next it'll be nearly impossible. This leads to some very aggravating gameplay and additional brutal mouse beating. In the beginning of the game, attacking any monster more dangerous than skunks or crabs is suicidal. Even as you get stronger and better equipped, the task of exterminating the many creatures is extremely difficult and often fatal. Be sure to save your game every step of the way and be prepared to restore a lot. Magic is one of the biggest parts of any role-playing game. Origin has come up with all sorts of ways to incorporate magic into their games, from runes to reagents to just plain old spells. Ultima VIII goes the reagent way, using different combinations of odd materials along with a few choice words to create a spell. While I personally don't care for this type of system, it does seem more realistic, and Origin has done a fine job of putting everything together. The graphics for spells are impressive, with each spell having its own colorful animation. There are a few particular small annoyances that deserve mention. For instance, some of the monsters can rip you to shreds through building walls, or after they hit you, just keep hitting you before you have any chance to get up and defend yourself. And who appointed this guy Avatar without making sure he had his water safety certificate? Overall, I was pretty disappointed with Ultima VIII. The graphics were superb, but the fun factor just wasn't sustained throughout the game. I would have probably really enjoyed Pagan if it weren't so slow and the control was a little better. The plot and action are so slow in the beginning that some people might toss this one on the shelf before they get to the best parts, which come closer to the end. Pagan is not one of my more favorite Ultima games, and I'm sure that many people will end up agreeing with me. But there are those die-hard Ultima fans that just might love it for the graphics and sound. Let's just hope that Ultima 9 will be something that we all can enjoy.